So today we are going to learn how to create this particular dashboard. In this dashboard, whatever visuals you are seeing are from some DAX function, and all these DAX functions are time intelligence related DAX functions. This is 50 important DAX questions part 2. Hello everyone, welcome once again to another Power BI related tutorial by Team Slideshow. In this part, we are continuing our discussion of 50 important DAX functions. This is part 2. We are discussing all important time intelligence functions. The data set that we are using for today's chapter is this particular data set, and the functions that we are studying today are continuation from part 1. So most important 50 DAX functions. Today time intelligence functions, where we will study total year to date, total month to date, these type of functions. As you can see here, so for example, this is showing current year sales. Okay, this is showing previous year sales or current year profit, previous year profit, year over year growth percentage, whether it's going up or it's going down. So whatever value is there, so how can we do something like this? Although this was discussed in our chapter where we studied this sales analysis dashboard, but here we will take a simple data set. In this data set there are 24 orders. These 24 orders are of different dates. Some dates are of previous year, that means 2024, and some dates are of this year. Okay, so you can see we have orders of different dates, and in these dates we can find out current year, previous year, year to date, these kind of calculations. So what we can easily do, I will share this file with you. So I will simply copy this and open Power BI desktop. Here I will just go to enter data, and in enter data I will press here and paste the data. So you can see sales data will appear, and we can save it as our temporary sales table. Now I will take 2 minutes to just prepare the dashboard, so that whatever we are doing is on a dashboard which is more understandable. So here on my canvas I will go to canvas background and very quickly choose some background from our theme. So for example, let's go with this color. So the color that we can choose is 1A, 1A, 1A. It's like a black, but yeah, and we'll make its transparency 0. Next we will add a text box, and in that text box we will just paste whatever we are doing, 50 important DAX functions part 2, time intelligence, sales analysis. Now okay, we will align it to center, and if you want you can go and enable shadow, and for shadow you can select some other color like this. So these are 50 important DAX functions part 2. And what we can do for this particular chart itself, we can select another background. So this is our dashboard heading. Now this is not necessary, but we are just doing it so that uh, we are also doing revision of some designing also. Next, total YTD. So what happens is, if I will simply add a stacked bar chart here, so in this stacked bar chart we will be able to see, or actually I will make it horizontal. So in this horizontal bar chart what we can do, we can see that this is year. I'm selecting only year from here, and I'm only selecting sales as y-axis. So you will be able to see sales by year. Okay, we can easily convert it to a line chart, and we can now add this entire date thing here, and this will show us sum of sales by year, quarter, month and day. We can go up. This is by quarter, year and month. We will go up, and this is sum of sales by year and quarter. So for every year, whatever quarters are there, this is showing sales. We can simply convert it to this chart. This is simply showing us sales value. Okay, and whenever you want, so let's say you just want by year, so in year 24 this is the sales value, in year 25 this is the sales value. So this is something that we can do. Now the first function that we have to study is total YTD, year to date total. For year to date total, we will right click and create a measure. Okay, and in this measure, so if you will just write total YTD, so what is the usage? In total YTD you will write an expression, so it evaluates the specified expression over the interval which begins on the first day of the year and ends with the last day in a specified date column after applying a specific filters. So you can see in total YTD we can use expression, dates, and optional arguments are filter and year end date. So what we will try to do here, we will find total year to date sales. So I'm opening a notepad here and this is the formula. So in total YTD, this is our expression, that is sum of sales and sales. So sales is table, sales is column. So from sales table we are selecting sales column. So this is our expression, and then the second expression is the second argument is dates. So we are just using the date column here, and this will find out YTD sales. Okay, and if you will simply use a card here, so we are using a card here, so in that card we will just add this visual, and in this card visual we will be able to show year to date sales. So this is YTD sales and it is now showing 127k. Okay, so this is, you can see 127k, and here we can see call out value is given, so we'll make it around 35 or less, let's say 25 or 25, sorry. So this is YTD sales, and what we can do is we can enable some kind of shadow here, or we will reverse the charts later. That is something that we are going to do later. So this is year to date sales. What we can do, we can copy here, format painter, and apply here. So you can see it will get the dark background, and now we can change the call out value and category labels color. So we can select some light colors here. YTD sales. So what is this showing? Whatever sales we have in 2025, this is showing that. We can also copy the same formatting here as well, and then here what you have to do, in title you have to select a different color. So, and we can align it in center. Now axis values are not visible, so we will go to Y axis. Here we have values, we will choose a light color. Similarly we will go to X axis, here we have values, we will choose a white color. You can see it is showing a minimum and maximum range also, which you can select from here, and this is range, this is value, this is title. So for axis values we can also select the titles. So whenever you are creating charts like this, remember you have to show titles in such a way that they are properly visible. And now what if I want to show these values here as well? What if I want to show these values on these charts? So for that you will click the visual, go to its format visual setting, and enable data labels. So now you will be able to see those values, and this will confirm this is showing YTD sales. Okay, and what is the formula for YTD sales? Total YTD, you will write your expression. Your expression will be sum, minimum, maximum, average, whatever you want, and then sales date. So if someone asks you what is the average total YTD, you will answer that. But here is an interesting usage of this particular chart or this type of chart which you have to understand. So if you are using a table, so let's use a table visual here. So in that table visual we can add some columns. So first column can be date, second column can be YTD sales, and third column can be total sales, something like that. So here what is happening when you are selecting date, so what is YTD sales and what is total sales? Okay, here you can see it is showing the same data, but in total value, okay, in total value you have the difference. So in many cases you can see date wise or day by day it is showing what is year to date sales, and sum of sales is different, but this overall sales value will be different. So this is something that you have to check. Now remember one thing, here we are seeing same values. So let's say we don't want year, we don't want something, but we want quarter. So now you can see if we are seeing quarterly year to date sales and sum of sales. So in quarter one, this year to date sales is 61,300, but total sales is 89,900. So this depends upon the context that we are using, and it is very important, right? So you have to understand. For example, if instead of quarter, if we go with month or day, so you will be able to check that. So you can see when we are going with month value, so you can see for January year to date it was 24,000, but overall it is 37,500. Okay, so this is the difference. And whenever we are doing date related calculations, particularly working with time intelligence functions, what you have to do is just go to modeling tab and create a new table and call it your date table. Okay, and now in this date table we will use the calendar function. This calendar function will take a start date and an end date and will create all the dates that will fall between them. So what is happening now, we only have some dates, right? We only have 12 dates. So this calendar function will create a continuous set of dates, like no missing values. So we will write minimum of our sales tables date column, whatever is the minimum date there, and here you will write maximum of that date. So this will create a date table, and you can see all the dates that are here. All these dates are continuous values from first year to second year, and actually you will see now there are 534 rows. So this is very important. So this is containing dates from minimum to maximum date till now, that is 2 July 2025 at this moment. So now next thing, in modeling tab, make sure that you have selected this date as, like you have linked them together, but before that just right click or click your date table, and you will see an option in table tool that mark it as a date table. And to select your column, only one column will be there, date column, validated successfully. And now you will convert this table as a date table, and this kind of icon will appear. When this icon appears, that means it is now being treated as a date table. Okay, so this is important. And next what you have to do is you have to select your modeling tab and now link them together. So you will just tell that these two dates are same. Now after making them same, suppose like I will just create a copy of this table and put it here as a copy. I will just remove the date that I selected from sales table, and now I will select this table's date. Okay, and now it is showing a proper date that on 15, what 15/1/2024, what is the year to date sales and what is this sales value. Now you will be able to see the difference, that total sales on 12/2/2024 year to date sales were 21,900 and total sales was this. So this is again on the basis of our selection. Okay, so this type of data can be there, and you can actually create these tables to analyze the data. If you want to show this sum of sales as total sales or something, you can rename for this visual, or you can just mention like this. Okay, total sales. Next thing, let's see some designing. So in this type of chart, what if we go to general effects, disable the background? Okay, in visual you will see style presets, you can say none, everything is gone because we just want our text to appear. Okay, so this is something you can select. Or as a background, what if we select this dark background that we have used? Next, in visual we have values, so text color, this one, or alternate text color, a little dark but this one. These are headers, date, YTD, these are all column headers. So column header color, let's select this one. These are row subtotals. So in row subtotals are, let me, yeah, so these are totals. So totals text color also something like this, okay, something different. So this is something how you can create a table. What if I copy this, format painter, apply here? So this will also copy the same styling, and here we have month, year to date sales and sum of sales. So what we can do, we can add quarter also here. So this will show quarter and month wise data. So this type of a chart will help you in understanding what is happening, and this is all for time intelligence or something that is helping us with time related calculations. Moving ahead, so we studied total YTD. Similarly, we can do total MTD. This is just total month to date, and this is total quarter to date. So I'm just showing you one, and rest of that you can try. So as we created total YTD, so we can simply copy that and just write total month to date, and we will select other part as same. So this is going to be total MTD, and here we are going to call it MTD sales, okay, month to date sales. And here we will just, in not in this table, this table will create a measure and say write month to date sales, month to date sales. And now we can actually add the month to date sales also here. So in month to date sales, if we'll add here, obviously you will be able to see that. Let's reduce the width of our columns. So this is showing month to date sales, and this month to date sales is now showing us same value. Okay, but here it is different, like 18.3. So whatever sales were there up until this particular date, it will show. This is currently July month, and if you will actually see the data in this July month, okay, let's say descending, there is only one sales value, that is 16,300. So if I add this month to date sales here, so it is showing me that same value 16K. So month to date in our case, total sales value is 16,000. Okay, so this is what we can find out using MTD. Similarly, we can copy this, create another measure. So we will create a new measure and we will find QTD, and you can use it in table. So its actual usage will be better understandable in table. So here we have taken quarter, so we will use QTD here. Here you will write total QTD, and when you will write total QTD, it is going to find out sales value, and here we will actually select this table and add QTD here. So when we'll do that, so you will be able to see. So let me just drag it here, reduce the column width, and you can see the QTD cell. So you can see here, for example, in quarter 4 of December, like in quarter 4, obviously December, year to date sales were this, sum of sales were this, and QTD sales were this. So this is how you will be able to see these values. Now what we can do, we can just use this KPI width as half of each visual here. Okay, we can reduce it with a little bit. Yeah, so this is something that we can do. And similarly, now we can copy and show our QTD value. So our QTD value will be shown with same way. So because QTD also quarter has just started, so like QTD it is showing here. Now suppose we select a particular day 18/3/24. So now everything that we are seeing are for that particular day. So everything will be filtered automatically. Next function is same period last year. It returns same period in previous year. So if you remember the case that I showed you, that current year sales versus previous year sales. So that kind of calculation can be created or can be done with the help of same period last year function. Now we will calculate previous year sales. So you can see here, this is previous year sales. In previous year sales, we will use the calculate function. In calculate function, what happens? Let's see some use of calculate function first. So, for example, I am using a calculate function. So, I have many categories. Okay. So, or I have different regions or managers. So, let's say I have categories, clothing. Someone asked me what is the total sales value of clothing category. So I will just right click here, create a new measure, and I will write clothing sales. Okay, I'll use calculate. In calculate, first argument is your expression, which we will use as sum, and in sum we will write sum of sales like this column. And what is the filter? So filter is that in the sales table category is clothing. So this way it will filter out only those rows, or filter and give us only those rows, and then calculates sum of sales for those rows where category is clothing. And when you will do that, we'll actually be able to see that. So let's do it like that. And instead of QTD, let's say we are doing clothing sales. So it is showing as 57,000. Now how can we verify that this is correct? So to verify, let's create some kind of visual which can show us this data where we will not use this. So for that I am going to use a donut chart here. In that donut chart I am going to apply the same formatting as we have there, or actually applying from here will be good. As a legend I will bring category, and as a value I will bring total sales. So you can see in clothing category, so category electronics, furniture, clothing, it is 56,800, which it is summarizing as 57,000. Now let's fix this here, because detail level values are 35 or something. So we will use 11 as a font. Now every other text is visible, not this, because this is the legend text. So as a legend text, we will go and choose a color that is properly visible. So now, okay, so this is sum of sales by category, and here we can actually see 57K now, which we can verify. So this is how calculate will work. Okay, now in this calculate itself, if we say, okay, first is sum of sales, the expression, and as a filter we are using a function same period last year. We are saying calculate sales but for the same period but last year. Important and very important thing, here you are going to select the date table date, not the order date from here. So the date table that you have created and marked as date table, you have to select that. So here we will just write PY sales. Let's see if it will be there. So YTD sales, sales year to date till now, and PY sales, previous year sales. Okay. So what we can do is, yeah, so right click here, new measure, and PY sales. So calculate first expression, then filter, and remember what to use. In same period last year, it only asks for dates. What are your dates of same period last year? What is the date column? And usually it is the date table. So when you will do that, we'll get a measure. Let's try to create that measures value, or let's try to find out that measures value, that this is previous year sales 73,000. Okay, so here it is showing as this value, which we will see why, but this is the value. Sales is showing that 2024 sales is 121,500, but here it is 73, because this is previous year sales, so that's why I'm going to rename it as SPLY sales. Okay, same period last year sales. Now this year we have information of, like, we have only years from January to July. So what it is comparing with is from first day of previous year to July, what were this particular day, what were sales. Okay, so now this is because of the context. So what if we change the context? So here let me just select this, and here I will use a slicer. Slicers work as filters. So this will change the overall context. What date are we considering? Right now it is considering this year's date versus previous year's date. Now here if we add year, okay, and we go in slicer setting and say drop down, and here also we'll go general, disable background, visual, slicer header white color, and slicer values white color. Okay, although here it will not be visible, so I have to select some value that is properly visible. This is something that I am figuring out. Yeah, so let's say 24. When we selected 24, why is it not showing anything? Because there is nothing before 24. When we select 25, so now then also it is not showing anything. Okay, that is something we have to check. So the problem is it expects a contiguous selection. Okay, when the date column comes from table, the one side is bidirectional. So in total, what if we say that, okay, I got you, now I am not going to show this one, but actually we are going to select this date. Okay, and here we will select date. So let's select any date of 2025. Okay, so here it is not showing year or quarter. Why? Because we have only date here. So we will now go to this table and create a new column there, and that column will be year. Okay, and for that we are going to use a year function. So year of date tables date, this will find year, and it will be from a continuous value. Okay, so now we have year. Let's try. So now instead of this, if we add year as a drop down, we select 25, 73,000, we select 24, blank. Okay, so this is what it is doing. So it is showing us sales of same period last year when date is 25. Now, what if we say that we don't want drop down, we want between? Okay, so now we actually have this kind of filter where we have this between. So let me do one thing, shift everything a little bit down so that we can actually use a better, yeah. And here we are going to now going to select the values and font color like this. If I change the date, so here this may be back and forth, but now if I add date here, and then actually I will have the date filter. Okay, so let's say we want, so I am selecting values from October, or let's say I am selecting values from January 1, 2025 to April 30. So now you can see everything is changing. Okay, same period last year it was 38. So whatever value we are choosing now, on the basis of those values we are seeing this. Okay, so this is very important. So whatever we are selecting here, on the basis of that particular selection we are seeing these values. And when you will actually change this selection, okay, you will keep seeing difference here. So on the basis of your selection, this will keep changing. And if year comes as 24, we will not be able to see anything. This is the purpose of same period last year. So now if we simply copy this, okay, I have simply copied this, and here in x-axis we will use this date, not that one. Now it will show us continuous set of dates between this period. Okay, and now in y-axis we have sum of sales. We will also write SPLY. Okay, that means same period last year sales. So now you will be able to see that here you are seeing two different lines. This dark color is showing you same period last year value, and this is showing the total value. And actually based on your selection, this is going to change. Let's say we are selecting from 25 only. So in 25 only you will be able to see that these values are almost same, right? So that's why it is showing whatever data we are selecting, on the basis of that it is showing same period last year sales. And here if instead of sum of sales we add this, so you can see this is YTD sales and this is same period last year sales. So you have to select your values that you have to compare. We can also create current year sales and previous year sales. How to do that? Like this is same period last year, but current year and previous year sales can be done with a simple logic. So here we will create a measure, and in that measure I will write CY sales, and CY sales will be calculate sum of sales. So we are selecting sum of sales. Okay, and in sales column we are, like in sales table we are selecting sales. Now as a filter we will say that in sales table, okay, when your year, or in sales table date is today, so today function will give us whatever value is today. That is something that we studied earlier. And in today function if we write year, so this will select year from today, whatever it is today dynamically. Okay, so this is current year sales, and this will come same as 127K. So let me just show that. So I am going to just create this. So if I write CY sales, so it is, you can see it is showing blank. Let me check why. And maybe because we are comparing wrong values. So actually sales date will not be this, year of sales date will be this. So we have to compare both equal values, right? Year of sales date is today. Now it will come as same. So let me zoom this for you. This is how you can calculate current year sales. Calculate sum of sales where year of your current sales date is year of today, whatever it is today. Okay, and this is how you can calculate previous year sales. Very easy. So what we'll do, we'll just write today minus 1. So whatever year is today, like 25, so this will find out whatever year it is today, minus 1 will be automatically 24. So this is current year sales and previous year sales, the dynamic version, right? So this is going to show 1 to 2, and that's why in these type of charts we can also display whatever is current year sales value, because but remember this is going to show a single value, right? So that's what you have to check. Month wise it is going to change. That's why here we are showing sum of sales versus same period last year sales. Now let me show you one more way. So here we have date table. What if I go to modeling tab, or from here we create a new column, and as we created day, we are going to create a month column. As we created year, we are going to create a month column. So month date. So in month date, what we are going to select is again the same date. It will give us a numerical value of the month. Okay. So now if we see the date table, so we have year and month both. So if I simply copy this and put it here, okay, because I just want to show you something. So here we have same period last year and sum of sales currently, but here if we select month, so obviously it is going to show 1 2 3 4, and that month wise current year sales and month wise previous year sales. So we will add CY here and we will add PY here. Okay, so now it is, or it can show month wise CY sales and PY sales. Or if you simply want to visualize total sales by month, you can keep it like this. So if this can be done in the same graph also, like we can use these different features, but here is if you want to show separately. So whatever you want to show can be selected. So let's say we want to show sum of sales by quarter, so we can show it like this, sum of sales by month. So either we can do it directly or we can do it with the help of this calculated table also. Now as we created or used calendar function, there is previous month function which gets previous month's dates. So whatever was previous month, we will get its dates. So these type of functions are useful for finding something like what is previous month sales, as we are doing previous year sales. So automatically from our date table date, it will select previous month and calculate its sales. So we can write previous month sales same way. If, instead of filter, we are using previous month, and this is something that can also be added in a calculated table like this. Okay, so I have simply added this, and now let's add. So here in this table actually we have YTD, sum, etc. So let's keep them and just add the previous month's value here, and you can see in some cases it is coming as blank, in some cases it is coming. So I am just going to remove quarter from here, and so you can see here like sum of sales in January, then QTD, and what is previous month. So for example in January there was no, so it is blank. In February there was some sales, so it is showing what was previous month's sales for this particular value. Here important thing is that you have to select, let's say we have selected month here, but we can also add month and year both, for example. So not this one, but as a filter. So we'll say don't summarize, because month Obviously it's a number, but for us it's a year. Year also don't summarize. So for month 1 2024, sum of sales, QTD sales, and previous month sales. I'm removing QTD here because we already have QTD value in our chart that is just above this. So this is sum of sales, previous month sales, month wise and year wise. So you can see for month 1 24, no sales because we don't have any value to see. But for every other value, for month 2 year 25, previous month sales is this, total sales is this. So this is what you will be able to see. Okay, and you can arrange it month wise, year wise, and then you will be actually able to see. So you can see 13,500, 13,500, 8,400, 8,400. So this way it works. So this is very important. Similarly, like we have done previous month, we can also do next month. So this will just show us as per the context what is the next month's value. For example, if we will select 224, so previous month it was this, next month it will be this. Those kind of calculations can be done. So all you have to do is for next month just replace previous month with next month. Okay, you can also write next day, next month, next quarter, next year. Similarly, previous month, previous day, previous year, previous quarter. So we are just covering one example, but you can try others as well. And in our original chapter that we did, we have covered these things. There is one more thing that we actually covered, that was how to calculate this YOY label. And for that YOY label, we calculated year over year percentage, which is simple. Whatever is current year sales, subtract that with previous year sales and divide that with previous year sales to find out year over year percentage. So use the divide function. So it's like A minus B divided by B, which will give you percentage growth of A versus B, right? So that is something which you can try here as well. So next is parallel period. It gets a parallel period. Example, same period, same quarter last year. Like what we did, same period last year. So it is doing same quarter last year or something like that. So here I have explained parallel period in with an example. So here is a short example. What it does, parallel period shifts the date in current context by a specified number of intervals, month, quarter or year. By context we mean, for example, if we have selected a particular date period, so it will, based on that, it will select month, quarter or year, but keeps the same length period. So parallel period dates, number of intervals, interval type. Dates, a date column. So this is what it is going to take: dates, number of intervals, and what is this interval type. So dates, a date column. Example, the date table that we have created. Number of intervals, for example, one interval, or -1 for previous and 1 for next. Interval type, whether we are going -1 month, -1 quarter, +1 year, or what. Example is previous year sales. Again, same value, sales previous year. But here, instead of using that filter that we applied, that year of date is this. So here we can also do like that. So you just write sum of sales and parallel period last year. Here you will select first value as your date. So date, then interval -1 year. So this is the filter we are applying. So we are saying in the date table, wherever the value is -1 year from this year, select that. So how it works in 2025 January, let's say sales is 24,000. The sales previous year parallel period will be 22,000 from Jan 2024. Similarly in 2025, let's say in February it is this value. So same sales previous same period last year will be this. So this is something that it is going to do. Now we have 19 and 20, that is first date and last date in column. So first date, as the name suggests, whatever is the first date in that particular column, it is going to return that. Now we will study first date in Power BI. What it does, first date returns first or earliest date in current filter context. Syntax is simple, just write first date dates. Example, first sales date, whatever is the first date of sales. So in the sales date, this returns earliest date where data exists based on current filters. Example, per region, product, month, etc. So you can use it with calculate like this. Get sales on the first date of the context. So sales on the first date, and we will write calculate sum of sales this. So let's select this, and here we are going to create sales on the first date, and the last date is also similar. Now if I select a stack column chart, if I copy format here, in x-axis if I'll select region, and here we will select first sales on first date on x-axis. Now what is this showing us? It is showing that I will select from here actually, because their axis is already, yeah. What this is showing that in we have different regions, and for all kind of regions that we have, okay? So in north region, what is the sales on first date, whatever is there in the context. So what if I select something like this, okay? So in this particular period, whatever is the first sales date, you can see it is going to change, right? Let's say I am now in July. So in June and July, only two sales are there, and then on the basis of that, it is showing us the data. So on the first sales date, whatever sales is there, it is showing us. And similarly, let's say we have other categories also, we have customer also. So we want to find out customer wise some information. So we want to find out customer wise and category wise current year sales. So we can choose a simple ribbon chart. So we will put category on x-axis, current year sales that we have. So this is CY sales on y-axis, or we can also write PY sales or same period last year. So whatever you want to select. So I'm just going with sales right now because you want to confuse. And in legend now we can select customer name, okay? Or what we can do, we can say that customer will be on x-axis and legend will be here. So we now have different type of customers, and they have what product of different categories, which we can see from here. Instead of customer, if we want to see region wise the same data, we can do that. So we can say sum of sales. In legend we will put category, and then it will show region wise data. So this is showing us that in all the regions electronic sales is more. So that's why first we have to select the legend text properly. So in legend we have text, we will select this. So this is going to show legend text value, and now this is the data. So this was a simple chart or simple dashboard that we created. I tried to show many examples of these important time intelligence functions. Obviously there is a case that some functions are still remaining, but these are very important functions, and in many of my other examples you will see their usage. So try them and try to apply them in one data set of yours and see how it goes for you. Thanks for watching this video. If you have any questions, suggestions, anything, you can ask them in the comment section. See you in the next video.